Alright, so what we have today is another whiteboard session, and this is going to be about creating some shots, particularly against a low block. So what is a low block? Well, a low block is pretty much exactly what it says it is. It is low, meaning close to a team's own goal, and a block just means a compact set of players, right? So right here, you'll notice there's a low block created by these 6 players on the blue and white team, right? And this block right here of these here and these here, the idea is to stop penetration from all angles. So how do attackers get around that, right? Let's look at how to do that. So to create against a low block, one of two things needs to happen. Either a player will have a ball and will pop it from 35 yards from goal and put it in the top corner. That's a great way to score, except trying to pop one from where 89 is standing and put it into the top corner is hard. And generally we don't like hard. We want to take the easiest path to be able to score, or at least something with a little bit more consistency. So how do we do that? Well, let's take a look. So what we have here is the red team, the red and black team, in a 4-2-3-1, which is kind of a variant on the 4-3-3, a little bit more possession-based. And you'll notice it's a little bit more narrow, right? Instead of being really far out, the wingers are a little closer in, right? But this allows the players to play some combinations, right? And in order to break down a low block, a disciplined low block, you have to understand what the low block is trying to accomplish. For the team in blue and white to be successful, all of these players, the 4 in the back specifically, need to stay in a really compact line, right? So it may be that they're even closer together than I'm giving them credit for, right? Really compact on the edge of their own box. And these two players, 6 and 8 for the blue and white team, are just screening in front of it, right? So if 27 tries to go here, 8 is there to cut it out, right? Or if 89 tries to play 63, 8 is there to try and sweep that up. So the idea is these 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5, are in a very solid line. How do you break that down? Well, you take advantage of the fatal flaw of just about every soccer player on the planet. Players want the ball. So, in order to do that, you need to create triangles. So here, we have a triangle created here. We have a triangle here, which is a little bit bigger, so maybe 22 pinches in a little bit. We have triangle right here, and then here as well. So lots of different little triangles going on, right? And you could even argue, clear it, you can even argue that this is a triangle and this is a triangle. So there's a lot of different triangles created when players are a little more compact. But remember, when you're compact, it's really easy to be on top of each other, so communication is important. That said, let's take a look. So, 89 has the ball here, and to try and pull players out of position to take advantage of a defender's natural inclination to want to go get the ball, 63 needs to hold his position and receive the ball from 89, and now 8 and 4 have a choice, and assuming they're communicating, one of them will go out to pressure 63, because you don't want 63 to just be able to stand there, right? At some point, if you just give players infinite time, they will make something happen. So one of them, 4 or 8, will step out to try and challenge 63, and that's fine. Let's say it's number 8. Well, in that moment, as number 8 steps out, space is left behind him, right here. And so at this point, 89 can come back and receive that ball again from 63. So that ball comes in from 63, and all of a sudden 89 has more space, and 8 is turned around. 8 has to hustle back. So now, with one pass, just a back-forth pass, right? And I'll go ahead and describe it. It was just a very simple 89 to 63, 63 back to 89. 8 has been pulled out of position, right? He's no longer in front of 4 and 2. He's now just in front of 4. Now 89 has space in front of him, right here, and 27 can also be trying to take advantage of the space. So now that this has happened, either 6 has to screen over or 8 is scrambling to come back. But again, as 8 scrambles to come back, he's leaving 63 by himself. So maybe 8 doesn't want to do that. Maybe now 2 has to step up. And what does that do? Leaves space behind him. So playing those short little passes, right? Because this right here between 89 and 63, this is maybe 10, 15 yards at most. But, as you can see, one short pass back and forth, and all of a sudden, some chaos has developed. Now, let's take it up a notch. Let's say that 8 is very disciplined, and it comes out to 63, and 8 tells 4, hey, that's your man, go pressure him. So 4 pressures, and the defense slides over, and everything is still very solid, right? 4 is pressuring 63. 63 can take him on, but, as we've noted before, you don't want to pressure, or I'm sorry, you don't want to try and take a man on if you don't have to, right? So, at this point, look at our line. This is still a pretty solid line, right? There's a little bit of space in behind here, but it's still fairly solid. And if 27 tries to make that run, 2 is covering, 8 can probably cover, or ideally, 8 lets 4 know, 4 goes, passes 8 off, passes 63 off to 8, right? And all of a sudden, as that run is made, he's still covered. So, how do we deal with this? Well, this is where patience is required. So 63 has received it, 4 steps to him, 8 is still covering, maybe 8 steps to 89. All of a sudden, that pass that we've been looking for right here is cut off. Well, that's all right. Let's just go back to number 9. Number 9 is a little bit farther back, so we'll pass it back to 9. And now number 9 has a chance to do some things. So now 63, as he has laid that ball off, has some options. Maybe he drifts inside and 89 goes outside. Remember, number 4 was on 63 initially. By pulling inside and 89 going outside, 4 and 8 have to communicate very quickly, right? Because if 89 is running across the face of 8, 8 is just going to see 89. So, as 89 runs across, 8's going to go with 89, maybe 4 goes with 63, and all of a sudden, the right back is now in the middle of the field, in front of his 2 center backs, and 8, who started right here, is now all the way out here. So it's created some chaos, right? Now, obviously the red team is farther back from goal, but if number 9 drives forward, you can see this solid line that we were describing before that was at first right here is no longer there, right? Now they're in 2 banks of 3, which is not ideal. And if 27 is making some other run that 2 or 3 has to be aware of, all of a sudden things get really crazy. Maybe 22 is doing something, right? So there's a bunch of things going on. So to break down a low block, it requires very quick, short passes, all right? Let's take a note as to why they need to be short. So let's back it up. Here is why the passes need to be short and fast, all right? Say number 9 decides, I want to spread this ball out. And so 22 is all by himself over here. Number 9 says, all right, we're passing to 22. So he makes this long pass here, maybe in the air, to 22. Ball goes over here. And 22 is by himself on an island, right? That's great. Maybe 5 comes out, maybe 6 comes out, whichever it is. But, take note, 63 received the ball in this space right here, between the corner of the box and where the right back was set, right? That's where 63 received the ball initially. You'll notice 22 is outside the edge of the box. That's fine. Maybe 22 is setting up for a cross, but in this situation, If 22 wants to cross this ball into the middle, that ball comes in, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe it's not a great cross and 5 gets a hand. 5 guys to the one guy in the middle, right? And even if 89 makes it up and 63 runs back post, it's still at best 5v3, at worst 6v3, right? So not ideal. We don't want those numbers. So how do we stop that? Well, now that 22 is a little bit wider, 5 has to come out, which is fine. And one of 27 or 89 needs to come in close, right? Because this pass to 27 right now is a long pass, right? That's probably 20 to 25 yards, right? Our first pass was 10 to 15. Now we're looking at 20 to 25. 5 yards doesn't seem like a lot. 10 yards doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up really fast because in the time it takes a ball to travel 10 yards, that's 3 extra steps a defender can take. That's a lot. So, in this case, 27 wants to come shorter, and all of a sudden 6 has to make a choice. Does he watch where 89 is, or does he go with 27, right? Because 3 doesn't want to come with 27. If 3 comes with 27, spacing behind, right? He's out of position. So 3 is disciplined and stays where he is in his zone, and 6 has to make a choice. Do I go with 27 or do I watch 89? If 6 goes with 27, 89 comes short at the same time, and all of a sudden, here's your triangle. 27, 89, 22. Past 89, 6 is out of position, maybe 9 comes through, 63 comes through, whichever, right? There's a bunch of things happening. But there's this space that has opened up in the middle, right on top of the D, and all of a sudden, the low block is starting to break down. So, we want it short, right? Like I said, if 27's here to try and receive that ball from 22, 3 can step in front, and yes, maybe he is leaving space behind him, but if 3 steps in front, it doesn't matter where 3 is standing. Because if that ball comes in here and 3 steps in front, 3 has the ball, right? And there would be attackers for the blue team up in here and up in here probably. So that's a pretty easy pass into here. And all of a sudden, they're away, it's a counterattack. So 27 has to come short. The way to break down the low block is not, let's just throw a bunch of long passes or let's throw a bunch of crosses in unless you have a guy that's 6'7". You want short, little passes to create that shot. Now, 27 receives the ball, and again, 10 to 15 yard pass. Now, 6 is tracking 27. Now, 5 has a choice. Does he step to 27, or does he watch 22? Because if 22 makes this run around him, right, say it's a give and go, 27 lays it off, and 22 has made this run, 5 is in a bind, right? Does he go to 27 because 27 is the danger man at this point? Or does he stick with 22, right? If 22 makes this run and 5 goes with 22, now there's a space for 27 to run into because 6 is behind him. Because 6 was caught in conflict between 89 and 27. It is an idea to create mismatches in numbers. Everything should be a double team, all right? In football, when you are double teaming a defensive tackle, maybe, you have 2 of the offensive linemen double up on that defensive tackle to stop him from getting through. Same concept. Number 6 can't guard 89 and 27. It's an offensive double team. It is creating conflict for that player. So, let's say 6 was a step late, 27 now has the ball, 5 went with 22, now 27 can take the chance to dribble through and either have a shot or just try and put the ball into an area for maybe 63, maybe one of the other midfielders has run up, right? Or have the shot himself. So creating chances against a low block is not easy. It requires very quick, intricate passes. And like I said, sometimes you need to recycle, like we did previously with 63. If 22 receives that ball, 5 comes up, 6 drops in, there's not really anything on. 22 goes back to 89, 6 shifts over, 5 shifts back into space, 8 and 6 are now shielding, 89 doesn't see anything, 89 goes back to 9, and you restart. Maybe you go to 63 and try again. It is almost like a pendulum. Back and forth. Because, here's why. If your defense is disciplined, if the blue team's defense is disciplined, they will continue to swing back and forth. We talked about this with the fullback movement. You will swing back and forth. But eventually, someone will get over-eager. Someone will get over-aggressive. When that happens, let's say 27 receives the ball here, and 3 steps to him, there's the space, right here. As soon as that happens, 89 comes through, 27 flicks it around the corner, 89's in on goal, that's a shot, that's an attempt on goal. So, it takes patience to break down a low block, but when a player or a team has patience, that creates opportunity. That almost lulls teams to sleep, and that will create shots against a really compact defense.